What's up, guys? My name's Chris Warrens, and I'm a full-time luxury watch dealer dedicated to educating you. We've been doing it since 2017, and I have a few other companies where I consult, write, speak, have some real estate, and a nonprofit in veteran services. But here on this channel, it's all about educating you on timepieces. Our goal is to build a community around educating on timepieces. So with that said, let's get into today's show. Best luxury timepieces for $4,000. We're changing it up this time. We're not just doing one review on a watch. This is going to be very subjective about what I think through my experience in all the years of wearing, collecting, and dealing, the best pieces are for around the $4,000 mark. Many people might not agree with me, and you are more than welcome to not. However, if you're new to luxury timepieces or looking for an opinion and perspective on someone that's worn these watches and a lot, some of them daily, I feel they're the best buys at this price point. Now, when I say $4,000, I mean on the secondary market. I just want to be clear, on the secondary market. Number one, Rolex Datejust, reference number 16233, the 1980s Miami Vice two-tone Rolex. 36 millimeter with a little bit of gold. For the price, it's fire. But these are vintage and they are older. So there's some things that you need to know. And you have to understand these things when you're buying a 30, 35, possibly 40-year-old piece. I would recommend, if you're going to buy this watch in particular, to work with a dealer that you trust. Why? Because the dealer will probably be able to pick out idiosyncrasies. These watches are so old, a lot of them are what we call Frankensteins. Not that they're fake, but they have like service parts, aftermarket crystals, aftermarket bracelets, aftermarket links, aftermarket dials, maybe even the movement. So just be aware that a vintage piece has and can have been tampered with, so work with a dealer that you trust. Additionally, since they're so old, the band tends to sag. So you're going to want to look at the integrity of the bracelet or the band. If it's sitting straight like this at about 100%, you're doing great. If it's folded over and it looks like this at about 20%, the band needs to be repinned, and that can be expensive. That can be like $1,000 just to bring it back to look like that from this. Additionally, the links, since there's gold, these watches often are missing links because they're so old. So if it's missing links, you have to understand if you need a link, it's going to cost you a couple $100s. Some of these are also old enough that the dials tend to patina a little bit. Patina is a nice way of saying the dial gets old and turns different colors. Now, truth be told, some patinas do command higher value, but some don't. So just be aware that there could be spots on the dial, there can be patinaed dials, and they can be needing a refresh, to say the least. So you really want to pay attention to the bracelet, the links, and the dial when you're buying these. And it can save you a lot of time and a lot of money when it comes to this purchase. One of the coolest parts is, since it's two-tone and such a low price point, you can dress this watch up or down and literally do pretty much anything in it. Now, a lot of people don't like when I use this word, and I understand their perspective, but I'm labeling this as a really cool entry-level timepiece and able to wear some gold on your wrist for about $4,000. People might not agree with this being entry level, but in the grand scheme of the watch industry, it is. Okay, the Breitling Superocean. Now, I'm going to give you a reference number of the specific one that we're referencing, but there are an incredible amount of options when it comes to the Breitling Superocean. The one we're talking about today is the AB2030161C1A1. What does that mean? It's a blue dial with a blue bezel on steel mesh. And that combination on this model for this price point, in my humble opinion, is pretty damn close to perfection. Now, other variations or the Superocean family you can find them from 36 millimeter to 46 millimeter, and they're a unisex diver. The example we're talking about is a 44 millimeter. I personally find the 44 millimeter is one of the best sizes for the Superocean. I also prefer the 44. Interestingly, the Superocean was originally marketed to compete against the Rolex Submariner. I do understand that. However, I don't really see the competition, but that's just my perspective. I mean, the Rolex Submariner is a Rolex Submariner, and the Breitling Superocean is a Breitling Superocean. They're not too similar. I guess they can look similar in some variations, but they're two vastly different watches. Important to know, the Breitling Superocean was one of my first personal daily wears years ago, and I have a soft spot for this watch. It's a great piece. You can wear it in the gym, in a jacket, in a suit, even at a wedding on bracelet. And one of the coolest parts about it is it's a really tough piece. You can beat the shit out of it. You could beat the hell out of it, and it will be fine. It's a great entry-level starter piece. I would say drum roll, but I don't have a drum, so I'm gonna drum my desk. The Omega Seamaster Pro 300M, or for short, SMP 300. It's no surprise to everyone that's been on this channel for some time that I'm also a big fan of this watch. You can find these between, say, $3,000 and $6,000. You can find a good variation at $4,000. Depending on the variation, the year, and the condition is really going to dictate the price point, but all can be found for $4K in some of the most appealing dials like green or blue. It's a 42 millimeter dial with Omega's unique coaxial movement, which only Omega uses. They come on rubber strap. It's a little bit more casual. That's what I like. That's what I would recommend for this price point, but do know you can get them on bracelet too. It's a super awesome, very tough piece. You can beat it up pretty good. And at this price point, I personally feel it's incredible. I've dailied many of these over the years. And again, I have a soft spot for this watch. Oh, and my watchmaker, who is very elite in the industry, I mean, he works on Michael Jordan's APs, he meets with Tom Brady to do his watches, he dailies this watch. All right, last but not least, the underdog, the Tudor Black Bay. There's a lot of opinion and there's a lot of option in the Black Bay family, just like the Superocean family. Narrowed down to one option would be kind of tough because you can find a lot of Black Bays at $4,000. Tudor often is overshadowed by its big brother Rolex, but specifically the Black Bay on Jubilee steel bracelet and a red bezel or a bicolored red bezel, to me, just looks really, really sharp. It has a 41 millimeter steel case, a 70-hour power reserve, waterproof to 200 meters or 660 feet, which means you can actually dive in this. With an MSRP of $4,450 on Jubilee, you can find brand new on the secondary market for about $4,000 new. So these watches trade below MSRP just like the Superocean, just like the Omega Seamaster 300. Overall, it's a great entry-level timepiece, which looks pricey due to its similarities to Rolex, but it's very affordable in comparison to a Rolex. Now, if any of these examples interest you that we went over today and you'd like to work with us, there is a link in the show notes and we'll get you all squared away. But before you go, I'd love to hear your feedback on this review and what you think of the review and the watches that we went over. I enjoy talking timepieces and respond to everyone no matter their perspective. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. And while you're there, hit subscribe. Welcome to the community. Welcome to the tribe. And please know I appreciate you all. I look forward to seeing you next time. Peace.